High-Tech Oil Super Series is underway for round number 5 at Winton Motor Raceway, and it's about time to get some of these, Rotex karts going, the super karts, and they are out on track. And there's a few categories in this one as well, isn't there, Jamie?
Yeah, so we've got lights, heavies and super heavies. So the first group away will be the lights, headed away by young Kiwi Tyler Edney, who's had a couple of race wins this weekend coming into the round. So it's actually the second round of the Australian Rotex Road Racing Championship. Edney was second in the points narrowly. I'd say he's got a points lead now with a couple of race wins and some problems for the previous points leader, Mr. Pereira, who's finished a little bit further back over the races of the weekend. Really, really entertaining. Fantastic circuit for these karts. 125cc water-cooled, two-stroke Rotax engines. They're all exactly the same. You can tune them a little bit different. They're all running on a Maxxis slick tyre this time as we go green with the lights category. And they're going to go 4 wide on the run down to turn number 1. Edney did not get the best of starts.
Final race of the weekend. Are they going to lay it all on the line for this one? This one's going to be fantastic. 7 laps for them to get around. Of course, we've got the Max Lights, the Max Heavies, and the Super Heavies. So the Heavies and the Super Heavies are probably crossing the start line about now as they have a split start. But this is your Max Lights, and look how quick they are to get things started.
Russ Occhipinti out to the lead. So these three have pretty much been exchanging positions over the weekend. And at the start of the weekend, kart number 98, Sanuja Pereira was the points leader, but he's had some dramas this weekend. He actually had a crash with another competitor in practice here on Friday, was struggling with balance of the kart, and he's had some mechanical issues that's dropped him back through the order. So all of these karts exactly the same engine packages, different chassis, and there's some different thinking about the chassis. Most of them are a purpose-built long wheelbase race, road racing setup rather than the shorter wheelbase sprint karts. And we've seen some really, really good action from these guys. So Edney slots into the second position with Quadrotry back there in third in the 51.
I like the moments down these small straights here at Winton where he just gets the opportunity to turn the head and see exactly where everybody is. So there's these moments throughout the race where you can see him almost turning their whole body around in the seat to see what's happening. But they really need to focus as they come down to turn number 1, because they do not lift off the throttle through this one. There is not a touch of brake, maybe just a slight lift as they slide it into 1. And have a look at this, full pace as they come out of turn number 2.
They carry so much speed through 1 and 2. So looking at lap times for the Rotaxes through the weekend, they've been in the 28s and 29s, which is only 4 to 5 seconds slower than a Trans Am around Winton Motor Raceway. Obviously, the gearbox karts we're seeing a little bit later on are a little bit quicker again, more horsepower. These FO125 Rotax are only 30 horsepower, but you still talk about that, they are capable of over 100 miles an hour. That's 160 kilometres an hour. When they're still very, very quick, and the sensation of speed's amplified because you're so low to the ground. Edney had a little half look up the inside of Occhipinti there at turn number 7. In fact, that was out at turn number 9 on the run down to 10, and looking to the inside here to the left-hander at 10. No, just a little fake.
I'm going to take an observation over the weekend that Edney running slightly different tyre pressures to the others, because he always seems to take just 2 laps to get himself up to speed. Always seems to lose off the start, get back 1 or 2 positions, but once that's like what tyre temperature, just goes past him and opens up a gap.
So both of them were just a little bit out of shape again. Edney with just a little look over his shoulder to see where the 51 is, and behind them, tucked right up underneath the back bumper of the 93. So that's where he wants to be, ideally going into the last sequence on the run down to the flag. So he's had a couple of wins in the weekend, was dominant this morning in very, very wet conditions. It just started raining as they were out on slicks, and they all just battled around, and Edney won the race this morning by 20 seconds.
Kiwi definitely had his gumboots on, didn't he? Very used to those conditions over there where they get a lot more consistent rain, I'd say, across the race season. So it definitely favoured the Kiwi this morning. The second race a little bit drier there, which we didn't see the gap blow out to as much that time. It was not too different across the finish line. They almost got him at Occhipinti, just didn't quite get the fight back. And here we go, the dive down the inside, coming out of turn number 9. Looks like he's going to get that move done. And like I said, a couple of laps in, wait for those tyres to get up to temp, and let's see if he can drive away with this one.
And Quattrocchi's not too far behind them as well, as Occhipinti comes back at turn number 10. So they're just sizing each other up. I think Edney sort of wanted to get to the front to see if he could get to the front and if he had enough speed to cover Occhipinti. He's got an inside run here under brakes. It'll just be a little dab, a little dab. They're certainly not trying to get the thing stopped and turn. Carrying that momentum, and Edney will lead this lap. Going back further through the field, it is Colin McIntyre and the one leading the heavy class. And in the super heavies, you've got the number 13 of Joe Brancati leading the super heavy class.
For a moment there, I thought maybe Quattrocchi might have put the nose into the 51. He almost came up into second position, but they just closed that down. Edney's going to have another go going down into turn number 3. Can he keep the drive going? He's probably hoping that Quattrocchi can try and challenge Occhipinti at the same time, because it would slow those two down for just a moment to try and break away potentially.
So that was a momentum killer for Occhipinti, because it killed it by about 6 kart lengths. He is now coming back to Edney. Edney, oh, that was a big brake application, because the back of the cart just stepped out as it had a little lock up. Remembering these are a solid axle, so both rear wheels are turning at the same time, not like a limited slip diff in a road car. So they're a solid rear axle. Well, actually hollow, but they're a one-piece deal that the wheels bolt on. Chain drive as Occhipinti. They're both on the limit of adhesion. Occhipinti back into the front. Edney got a good run out of 10 though, and Quattrocchi is going to go with him in the 51. Edney opens up the door. There was contact. Occhipinti just got in a little bit deep. He slips to the inside of Edney. The two Aussies gagging up on the Kiwi.
Quattrocchi though, look at him, what a move. 2 of them in 2 corners, and now he's in the lead. Not going to be for long, they go 3 wide.
Edney from 3rd, but he got back into the lead. And Quattrocchi's gone from the lead back to 3rd. This is classic road racing. This is how it should be. Gets a bit boring when someone disappears up the road by 20 seconds, which is unusual for this category, but in the wet conditions, some obviously are better than others. So Edney now has got a little bit of a gap. He's struggling to get out of turn number 4. That's a great overhead shot on that run through 5, 6 on the approach up to turn number 7 here. They are all on the limit.
Edney not as comfortable on his car when he comes in the brakes, is he, compared to the other two? You just see him lose a little bit of momentum, and you've got to try and regain that speed now to 8 and 9. It's all back on by here, but that's where he's been losing his ground at the moment for Edney. He's not going to get away from him. Occhipinti and Quattrocchi are going to work together.
Occhipinti with a very, very good run out of 9. So yeah, Edney, that's more of a sprint style, sort of braking style up into 7. Occhipinti, he's really good out of 10. Goes to the inside, Edney's not panicking. He'll just drop in behind and see if he can set him up with a couple of laps left to go. Here is Quattrocchi's gone to the inside of Edney. He has a little look over his shoulder, and I think that gesture was, come on man, tag on with you, work with me, because look what's just happened there. Occhipinti's just pulled 8 kart lengths out of them with that exchange between the 2 and 2nd and 3rd.
Well, this has been Edney's strong point, I think. Turns 1, 2, 3 and 4 potentially. It's where he breaks down into 7, where you just see the car's unsettled and loses a little bit of momentum. You see it here again, just opens up a small gap on Quattrocchi there in 3rd position.
Fastest lap of the race is actually Sonuja Pereira, but Pereira's back in the 9th position with a 1:29.81. So he's got speed, but he's got no track position. He's a fair way down the order. See how big of a break there Occhipinti got with that exchange between Edney and Quattrocchi on that previous lap at the last sequence of corners. This is actually going to be pretty hard for Eddie to try and close this gap now.
Especially as we come in with only 1.5 laps remaining in this race. They're going to run out of time, really. He's having a look over his shoulder just to see if he's going to have to try and cover at this point. But Occhipinti might have taken the advantage at the perfect moment in this race.
Absolutely, absolutely he has. But I think Edney, for the Australian Championship round here, more than likely will come out of this final race of the weekend with the points lead before they head to round number 3. The Kiwis will head back to New Zealand, back over here for the next round of the championship. Last lap board is out, 1 to go. Edney is closing, he's worked hard, he's closed that gap and does the fastest lap of the race at a 29.68. Occhipinti just went through and set a PB at a 129.86.
Can he do it though? The corners, well, there's less and less of them. They're diminishing. He's got to try and catch up to Occhipinti just in front, and he doesn't like this section. He'll come out of this, go through 5 and 6, but it's down into 7 where we really see Edney unsettle the cart compared to the other two that we see out there.
Edney definitely closing. Let's watch this braking style up into turn number 7. Right on the limit. Actually, Edney had a little bit of turn and understeer there. It just killed the exit speed a little bit, so Occhipinti maintaining that gap. Edney's right on the limit. You can see the cart hopping around just with some of the bumps on this bigger circuit.
Look at the gap though.
He has closed it again.
He's taken a big chunk out of it, hasn't he?
It's changed a couple of times, but Occhipinti, I think he's got enough here. Edney very, very smooth. Little or no upper body movement. Occhipinti with a little look over his shoulder. Oh, Edney's right there within a cart length. I don't think he's going to be close enough. Oh, or is he? He gets a great run out at 12. Actually, he's going to pull up alongside. This is going to be pretty close. I think Occhipinti's got the advantage. By how much? 0.03 of a second. Just 0.03. He nearly actually pulled that one out of the bag. But Occhipinti gets the victory. And Quattrocchi was only a second back out of that race win. That was a very, very entertaining race.
So your max lights, that is, across the line first. We go down to our max heavies. We're looking for Twigden now, who's leading that category at the moment, back in 11th position overall. So we'll have a look and see if Twigden can finish off in the max heavy class.
There's a big group of the heavies coming down to the line now. Shannon Noble is in that group as well in the 23, another one of the Kiwi boys. And I think Twigden did get the victory by 0.04 of a second over the number 1 of Colin McIntyre.
And in the Max Super, we're going to look for Brancati, 19th overall in the super heavy class.
And he's at the lead of this group here, so the 13 of Brancati will take out the super heavies for the road taxes. It's been good having these carts here this weekend. Over 50 entries across the 3 classes and categories.
Yeah, definitely put on a solid show out there for everyone here at the track. And there's that little bit of smoke coming out of a Formula RX-8.
That's not